Order. Roll call, please.
Ms. Raccomando?
Present.
Ms. Borelli?
Present.
Ms. Iannello?
Present.
Mr. Laurentino?
Present.
Ms. Mahoney?
Here.
Mr. Shearer?
Here.
Ms. Torbic?
Present.
Ms. Traverso?
Here.
Ms. Zottarelli?
Present. Please rise for the flag. Salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Adequate notice of this meeting has been sent to all members of the Board of Education and to the Bergen Record in accordance with the provisions of the Open Public Meetings Act, Chapter 231, 1975. At this time, please be advised that all cell phones and electronic devices are to be either turned off or silenced. Student reports.
Hi, my name is Samantha Apgar, and I'll be talking about the middle school, high school, and athletics. For middle school, on April 19th, the middle school had a battle of the books, and we're so proud of the students that participated. It is great to see our students engage in reading. Congrats to the following students that participated: Marine Amin, Ryan Bankovich, Martina Chabernek, Vita Del Orb, Tole El Said, Sarita Latfala, Jackson Lee, Prachi Niga, Tyler Rotella, and Grace Ween. April 27th was Bring Your Child to Work Day and was so much fun. It was great to see all the children from our faculty and staff. It was a fun-filled day. May 8th kicked off Teacher Appreciation Week. Thank you to our PTO for making us feel special. We appreciate everything you do for the school district. May 9th, we started the NJSLA testing, where our students are working very hard. Now for the high school. The high school had its courtyard cleanup day on Friday, April 21st. On Thursday, April 27th, we had about 30 children attend Bring Your Child to Work Day. The staff planned fun activities, and upperclassmen were helpers and babysitters throughout the day. Our Falcons for Change Club led two big events. First was Career Day on April 27th, where approximately 25 parents and volunteers, including Mayor White and members of the Saddlebrook Police Department, came in to talk with our students. The second event was Diversity Day, which saw multiple cultures celebrated with food, music, traditional clothing, and education. May 1st was Decision Day, and our seniors wore their college and next year gear. Senior portraits took place from May 2nd to May 4th. On Tuesday, May 2nd, Sergeant Rivera visited the school and led a military flag raising ceremony. Thank you to Board of Education member Mike Accomando for helping us organize this and attending. AP exams began last week and conclude tomorrow. State testing for 9th graders is this week, and next week, and science testing for 11th graders is next week. And for athletics, congratulations to Anthony Coiro and Kayla LaGuardia for being selected as Saddlebrook High School's 2023 NJIC Sportsmanship Award winners. These students will be honored at a luncheon at the Chart House in Weehawken.
Wow. Nice. So they need chaperones?
Hello, my name is Olivia Lash, and I will be reporting on all three elementary schools and Washington School. For the all three elementary schools, they were excited to announce their 2022 to 2023 Teacher of the Year. They are fortunate to work with such a fantastic group of educators. Bring Your Child to Work Day was a memorable experience for the families, and the students were excited to meet their teachers' children. The elementary schools also continued with their bright assemblies with student presentations, and students learned about responsible decision-making during SEL Day. They are currently taking NJSLA tests and look forward to all the end of the year events. For Washington School, they had a great time participating in Take Your Child to Work Day this year. On April 26th, the Washington School PTO held their Paint and Sip fundraising event. It was well attended and had a great time, and all the people had a great time. Over the next few weeks, students are getting ready for Field Day on May 19th, a field trip to the Turtleback Zoo in June, and their preschool graduation ceremony on June 16th. Washington School would like to thank their PTO for all that they have done for the staff and Teacher Appreciation Week.
Thank you, girls. Mrs. Violetti, your report?
Sure, so I'm going to continue with the celebration theme that we have this evening. We are congratulating 6 of our singers who successfully auditioned for the All-State Chorus. They will participate in a festival in February and a concert at NJ Pack in Newark. They'll also participate in a festival at the Convention Center in Atlantic City, and let's see, there's 6 of them. So Stephanie McNamara, Isabel Pimentel, Olivia Gabinelli, Jayla Pierre for treble chorus, and then for mixed chorus, Christian Lindbergh and AJ Stanchfield. So we want to congratulate those students. I also want to share that I held my first Superintendent Student Advisory Council, and we had over 30 students from grades 9 to 12 who attended. We had bagels and some waters, which, you know, I did get compliments on the bagel, so that was good. We spoke about different electives that the students want to see here at the middle school, high school in the future. I know home ec was a big one, horticulture to sort of align with our courtyard, psychology, computer science, mechanics, STEAM. We spoke about mental health in the high school, of course, the locker rooms and the bathrooms, offering different world languages, and they also started talking about creating a new tradition. Like in the past, we used to have Mr. Saddlebrook, apparently. I'm sure people around here know. So we spoke about, you know, having some type of tradition like that in our schools again. This week is Teacher Appreciation Week. Today was School Nurses Day, so thank you to our PTO and all our staff who are showing their appreciation this week. I also want to congratulate Mr. Wayne Rogers, who is a PE health teacher at Franklin School. He is being inducted into the Wrestling Hall of Fame this Friday, so we're very excited for him. I also wanted to share that our high school is hosting a field day this year. So I know that the high school administration team, Mr. Meisch and Mr. Osborne, has been working with their students in creating this day for our high school, and everyone seems very excited. You know, from hearing our students share, a big celebration we had this past month was Take Your Child to Work Day, and it was really great. Each building put their own spin on it, and they all worked together. They had a team that kind of planned for the day, and it was really great to see all the families that came. I know Sammy mentioned our Falcons for Change club here, and they did host a diversity day, but they integrated a mental health component, and that's because they're participating in a competition that's run by the Department of Homeland Security. It's called Event to Prevent, and there's only 36 high schools in the United States that are running in this competition, and it tasks teams to design a project that helps prevent targeted violence and hate. So they're sort of zoning in on mental health and how that would support that initiative. We are also starting Teen Mental Health First Aid again this May. So what that is, we did it last year for the first year. We're doing it again this year, where we have trained staff members that work with our 10th graders. And they help our 10th graders identify you know, when a peer is in need, how to help a peer, how to speak to one another. So it's such a great program that we're doing. And we have several staff members. I know Ms. B is one that's trained. Mrs. Myers is one that's trained. Mrs. DeMonis, who am I missing? Mr. Giorgio, and Ms. Olivero, our Tier 2 counselor. So thank you to those staff members who are really running and leading this initiative. We also are starting to schedule our Dreams grant program that we are going to have next year, and that's our Nurtured Heart approach. So last year, Smith School piloted it. They did it for the year, and now we're going to do it in each of our buildings next year. So we're starting that process. I also wanted to share with the board that we were approved for school-wide Title I next school year. So Mrs. DeBonis worked on that application. So instead of using title funds for students that are in need, we're able to use it for the entire school building next year, which is really a big accomplishment. So thank you to Mrs. DeBonis for that. What else? I wanted to share with the board that the Saddlebrook Police Department, just so that you're aware, they're in the process of restructuring and enhancing their communication system. And part of this project includes putting antennas on the roof of the high school, Long School, and Franklin School. So the company, which is called Regional Communications, they're going to inspect each of these sites. And Mr. Karate reached out to them to get more information for the future to find out more details about this initiative. Okay, so what we are going to do is we're all here to celebrate our Teachers of the Year. So we are going to ask our board members to move to the front, and we are going to have our administration team come up. They're going to share about the teachers. I'm not sure if there's still refreshments in the back, but afterwards we will take a short break. We will take pictures up here, and you're welcome to some refreshments, and then we'll take a break so that way if you don't want to stay, you don't need to stay for the entire meeting, and we'll move forward. Okay. Okay, so for those of you who in the room who do not know me, my name is Tony Violetti. I'm the superintendent of schools here in Saddlebrook, and I consider myself a very lucky individual, as you can see from everyone that's in this room this evening. So our Teachers of the Year, this is the process. So we have people nominate who they believe deserves this honor. So we had staff nominate, and this year we were excited to open up to our parents and to our senior students. And they actually wrote such great nominations about our staff members. It was so incredibly sweet to read. I'm honored that I have access to that sheet so I can read them all. And they really shared such really nice things about all of our staff, so it was such a great thing. So what we did was we had all those nominations, we shared them with our principals. Our principals put together a meeting. They had a parent, the previous Teacher of the Year winner, and a Board of Education member on the team. And they read through all the nominations. They used a point system, so it was anonymous, so each person got 10 points to allot. Each person on the team got 10 points, and they would allot those 10 points to the winners that they thought. So if they really wanted one person, they would give 10 points to that one person. If they had 3 top favorites, they might do like 4, 3, and 3. And then at the end, we tallied it up, and that's who was determined to be the Teacher of the Year for that building. And then what we did was we put together, and each principal kind of took their own spin on it, where we went into the classroom and we surprised the teacher and we asked the students, you know, what's so great about your teacher? And we had balloons, and you know, some of the principals, they can tell you what they did, but it was really great to hear what our students had to say about our teachers and just to see the excitement in the building. So that is the process, and that leads us to here tonight. The other piece is there is a luncheon at the end of May that our Teacher of the Years are invited to, and we will all celebrate them one more time. Okay, so first up, we have Washington School.
Hi, everybody. I'm Jillian Cawley. I'm the principal over at Washington School. So I have the honor and privilege of telling you a little bit about the Washington School Teacher of the Year, Mrs. Laura Kalova. She has been a preschool teacher at Washington for the past 6 years and has touched many lives along the way. Miss Laura, as her students call her, goes above and beyond every day to ensure her students have everything they need. She is always thinking about not only her classroom, but the school as a whole. She serves as our PTO liaison and is in regular contact with them to set up activities, events, and fundraisers for the building. Laura is loved and respected by not only her students and their families, but her colleagues as well. Staff are regularly going to her for questions and support on a variety of topics. Some of the staff had said that she's a hands-on and supportive teacher. She tries to help and support everyone and is patient and professional in everything she does. I have been lucky to get to know her over the course of this school year and have nothing but the utmost respect for her and all that she does. So congratulations on your well-deserved Teacher of the Year recognition.
Congratulations to Laura. Another round of applause for Miss Laura. Thank you. Next up, we have Mrs. Cohen from Franklin Elementary School.
Mrs. Astorino teaches 2nd grade at Franklin Elementary School, and it's really just so fitting that her last name begins with the letter A, and that's because the adjective that was mentioned in every single nomination that she received described her as amazing. The parents of the students that she teaches are thrilled when they find out that their child will have Mrs. Astorino as a teacher. That's because she always makes sure her students are learning and developing in a fun, supportive, and caring way. Parents report that their children come home very happy from school. She is described by the parents as being patient, an excellent communicator, and an all-around wonderful person. Her colleagues, rightfully so, sing her praises. Mrs. Astorino has a positive rapport with each member of our Franklin family. They see firsthand that she has a wealth of knowledge about current teaching strategies and has the experience to provide her students with an exceptional education. Her colleagues know that she has a deep understanding of her students' needs. She goes above and beyond each day to help each child in her classroom, whether they are struggling or academically advanced. Mrs. Astorino is hardworking and a team player. I'm trying to find you. Oh, there you are. Keep looking. There you go. Okay. I have been blessed to be Mrs. Astorino's principal for the past 4 years. Every day, I have the honor and the privilege of visiting Mrs. Astorino while she is teaching her students. The best way to describe her classroom environment and teaching practices is by using the 5 senses. What you will see are students who are hanging on her every word. What you will hear is her explaining things to her students in the most kind and caring manner. Unquestionably, she touches the hearts of her students. She provides them with a taste of how wonderful learning is and sets them on their way for being lifelong learners. And what you will feel is a magically warm and fuzzy feeling that makes you just want to pull up a seat and stay all day. I am so proud that Mrs. Astorino is Franklin School's Teacher of the Year.
Congratulations, Patricia. I think my favorite were the students love her special voices that she uses in her classroom. Helen I. Smith School, we have Mrs. Wonder.
Good evening. I'm Deborah Wonder, the principal of Helen I. Smith School. I'm proud to introduce our Smith School Teacher of the Year, Susan Laurentino. She is a proud Saddlebrook resident who has 4 children that went through our district and 2 adorable grandchildren. You're hiding over there. And her husband is a lifelong Saddlebrook resident and retired Saddlebrook police officer. For those of you who don't know Sue, she started her teaching career at a Catholic school for roughly 6 years, teaching mostly pre-K, kindergarten, 1st, and 2nd. Later on, after having her children, she returned as a paraprofessional at Long Memorial. After 3 years, she moved to Helen I. Smith School to teach, and the rest is history. She has been with us at Smith as a 6th grade teacher for 11 years. When reflecting back on my interactions with Sue, I laugh because she was one of the very first staff members to take me up on the meeting over the summer when I started at Smith. Her passion and intensity were apparent from the start. To be honest, I was a little intimidated. As I got to know Sue, I saw her working with her students, and I immediately saw how much she puts into her teaching. Large font, I promise. Sue is the teacher who sits with her students to have the tough conversations. She provides her students with everything they need, including clothing, winter coats, food, snacks, etc. During COVID, it was normal to see her walking around the neighborhood to students' homes to drop off assignments in their mailboxes or deliver materials and manipulatives that could help them. She calls parents as a part of a regular part of her practice and addresses the really tough 6th grade matters. And believe me, they deal with a ton of social, emotional, and hormonal matters on top of academics. She loses sleep over getting the students ready for middle school. Sue sends ideas and screenshots over the summer and on weekends. She even was texting me a picture this afternoon with a new idea to implement in recess next year. Around 5 o'clock, I got that. When students have family emergencies, Sue, outside of school or on the weekends, Sue is typically the first person to contact me to update me, tell me what's going on, and that she was just at the student's house checking on them and giving me an update. The list goes on and on. Last year, although we didn't have a Teacher of the Year, at the June meeting, one parent came forward to commend her efforts and said that Mrs. Laurentino, inspires her students, gives them hope, and instills a love of learning. As we've all embraced SEL practices as a district, Mrs. Laurentino now starts nearly every morning with a quote or positive affirmation for her students to discuss and apply to their lives. As you can see from the quotes and the notes up on the slide, by all that she does, she is loved and her passion is very palpable. I would just like to leave with a quote that she repeats often and made her students write down this year. Your life is a reflection of the choices you make. Choose wisely and create a masterpiece. Sue, thank you for all that you do. You've truly helped make your classroom and Smith School a beautiful masterpiece.
Congratulations, Sue. All right, Long Memorial School, we have Mrs. Mansfield.
Thank you. Good evening. I'm Jacqueline Mansfield, principal of Long Memorial. I'm going to start with this picture when Miss Violetti mentioned that we all, announced our winners, and this picture is definitely one of the highlights of my year. And how we did ours is that I walked into Mr. Iannacone's room and said, "Oh, wait, I forgot an announcement I have to make." And I used his phone and to make the announcement, and I announced to the school that Mr. Iannacone was our Teacher of the Year. And then Mrs. DeBonis and Mrs. Violetti were outside, opened the door, came in with balloons. And the best part of that was the whole second floor hallway. Students just poured into the hallway, just cheering, and teachers were crying, and it was such a beautiful moment. But my favorite part was when Mr. I walked into the middle, and all the kids just quieted down. And it just showed the respect they have for him, the love they have for him, and just his patient compassion, how he speaks to children, works with them, and it truly meant a lot, and that was a fantastic moment. So I am honored to announce our Teacher of the Year, Mr. Iannacone. So Mr. Iannacone is a 4th grade teacher at Long Memorial, and he has been an educator for 20 years and has even taught English in Thailand, which I found fascinating. And the more that I learn about Mr. Iannacone, the more that I adore him, and he just teaches me a lot along the way. He's also the advisor for the Environmental Club and takes pride in our school grounds. I think every day he's walking around, checking the flowers, checking the gardens, really seeing how he can beautify our school and the grounds, and it's truly appreciated. He has a garden that the Environmental Club oversees, and in the beginning of the school year, they actually picked tomatoes and basil from it and taught the kids a lot about recycling and how to do a garden, and just a lot of great things that they were able to do at home too. And his dedication extends outside the classroom, and he will attend concerts, baseball games, plays, dances, township events, and in a lot of the nominations, parents recognize that he's always there for the kids, and that means a lot to be with them inside the school and outside the school. The quote that I had up here was one of the quotes that I took from one of the nomination letters, and it said, "Mr. Iannacone emphasizes on strengths, encourages all students to learn in all capacities, and is willing to do anything to prepare them for the future." And I wholeheartedly agreed with that, so that was one of my favorite quotes. And his patience, compassion for his students in the school, and his dedication is recognized and appreciated, and I am so happy to have you working alongside you and as our Teacher of the Year. Congratulations.
Okay, next we have our middle high school. Mr. Meisch is our current high school principal. I know he's given this speech, but I am going to ask the entire middle school, high school administration team. So Chris and Brenda, why don't you come up here? And that way we're all together. But Mr. Meisch, you can come on up.
Okay. No one else is going to be happy with that. So good evening. It's my pleasure to introduce Mr. Sheldon as our Teacher of the Year for this year. I was given permission to roast him, but I'm actually it's actually gonna be on the sappy side, so fair warning. So to just tell you a little bit about Mr. Sheldon, he teaches US 2, US 2 honors, AP US 1, AP US 2, and dual enrollment sociology. Despite being spread so thin, he spends countless hours planning, grading, providing feedback, but he's also seeking out PD all the time and is constantly trying to improve. He's his own biggest critic, hands down. He's already crying. He's his own biggest critic, and is honestly one of the most reflective people I've ever met in my life. He has the highest expectations for himself and his students, and produces the best AP scores in the school year after year. He's serious business, but he also has a great sense of humor, and you could always count on him to lighten the mood with usually a corny joke. That's what we say is so bad it comes out funny. He puts his students first. If you go by his room when he's not teaching, he always has kids and staff in there who are, in there for therapy, basically, myself included. What's most impressive with him is that he was able to operate at such a high level this year while also having probably the hardest teaching load in the high school, but also dealing with 2 major losses in his family. Tim is an educator that I personally truly look up to. So Ms. Violetti went about the process, all right? So I'm going to make it a little lighthearted now. She talked about the process, and we had a committee. And if you've ever been on a committee before, you know everybody goes into a committee and has someone in mind that they already are like, this is the person I'm going to pick, all right? In this committee, and I know this for a fact because I saw who people nominated, nobody had Mr. Sheldon as their top choice. Not that was until I read the nominations he received. Sorry, I had to throw something in there. When I read the nominations, everybody switched gears. Tim's the only person who received votes from every single person on our committee, which there was about 7 of us in there. At the end of the day, the measure of a great teacher is their impact on students. That's what set Tim apart and what led to our decision. I'm going to share 2 of the student nominations. I'm going to read 2 of the student ones. So yeah, prep yourselves. I believe this is what, again, led to Tim being selected. So this is the first time he's going to hear this too. I didn't share these with him prior. So here we go. I had Mr. Sheldon for AP US History 2 my junior year of high school. I'm graduating in a few months, and looking back on the past few years, I really wish I had him as my teacher for more classes. Mr. Sheldon is not only an extremely brilliant man, but he's one of the most humble and compassionate people I know. I had him 8th period, and every single day, I looked forward to coming to his class. What I admire most about teachers is when they are passionate about their job and genuinely want to help students. It is because of him that our 8th period class became a family and shared endless memories and laughs. As someone who gravitates more towards STEM, he even made me appreciate and love history. Mr. Sheldon knew exactly how to keep our class on track for our AP exam in May, but he also made learning fun and exciting. He truly deserves all the best. And here's the last one. I had Mr. Sheldon as a teacher twice, and to say the least, he is the best teacher I've ever had. I had always heard from upperclassmen how much they loved having him as a teacher, and I was so excited when I found out I would have him. Over the 2 years, he has done so much for me and my fellow students, and I could not thank him enough for it. He's so dedicated to his job, always bringing new research into his lessons and constantly giving us a great quantity of materials to help us succeed. He has the best interests of his students in mind and wants nothing more than help us reach our goals. He constantly pushed our academic skills to show what we can do inside a classroom and always strive for our own success. He radiates positive energy and is always there to crack a joke. No matter what we were doing, he found a way for us to have fun. Even on tests, he'd throw in funny questions or answer choices just to lighten the mood. Aside from being a phenomenal teacher, he's an amazing person. I know that I could go to him for anything, whether it be letters of recommendation or just to talk about life. He is always there to help. He would constantly ask how my sports games went and was there to help pick me up if I seemed down. I'm so grateful for everything I've learned in that class and would take a course with him 20 more times if I could. I know I will never run into another teacher like him, which is why I'm so appreciative of the fact that I was able to have him as a teacher. Congratulations, Mr. Sheldon.
Okay, so I want to thank everybody that came out. I see so many staff members here, and I just want to thank you all for supporting your colleagues. And I also want to thank all our families that I see here tonight. So let's see, Board President, do you need to call a recess, or can I do it? Alrighty then, I have the power. We are going to take a 5 to 10 minute break, so please, you may come up here, take pictures with your families, your principals, whatever you want to do, and then we will resume the meeting after that. Thank you all.
like to call the meeting to order.
Motion.
Motion?
Second.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Now, back to the agenda. Business Administrators Report, please.
Just one item to update to the board and public. I mentioned on Monday, from the referendum, we had our sale of school bonds, the $14.4 million. We had 3 financial institutions bid on the bonds. We had estimated, the financial advisor estimated like 4.25%. The bids came in at Roosevelt and Cross, 3.65, Fidelity Capital Markets, 3.88, and Robert Baird, 3.88. So we actually did better than what was anticipated or projected, so that reduced the debt payment on the budget by like $130,000. Equates to about $5 on the average house. So, but it is going the right way. It didn't go up, so that's good. And we also are starting to move on projects in the referendum. There's 3 on the agenda this evening. We're going to start our security upgrades in the buildings noted. That work is to be started by the time school gets out and hopefully completed by the time the school is open. Same with the toilet bathrooms here at the middle school, high school, up to the 2nd floor. And then we're doing the ceiling and lighting at middle school, high school, Franklin, and Smith schools this summer. So we're happy to get those projects started, and then the other ones will be falling behind that. So that's good news, and I think that concludes my report.
Thank you. Anyone have any comments on the report? Questions? Okay. I'd like to open the meeting to the public for agenda items only. Anyone wishing to speak for agenda only? Okay. I'd like to close the meeting to the public. We never opened it, I know. Okay, board action items. I'd like to make a motion to approve B 2223.38 to B 2223.41. Second?
Second.
Roll call?
May I comment? May I comment?
Yes.
I just want to acknowledge the donation from Gift of Life America. Christine Laganello, one of our speech therapists, I know it's her father's organization. It's a nonprofit, and very generously they're donating $1,000 towards our special education program. I believe they're planning for some type of color run fundraiser this coming fall, and that $1,000 is going to help jumpstart it. So I wanted to extend a thank you, and I know I shared this on Monday, but the HIB grade self-assessment, that was already presented and approved this past fall, but it is a CUSAC thing, and I don't believe it was linked correctly, so that's why it's on here, so that way we make sure that we're covered. So thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments? Roll call?
Ms. Borelli?
Yes.
Ms. Iannello?
Yes.
Mr. Laurentino?
Yes.
Ms. Mahoney?
Yes.
Mr. Shearer?
Yes.
Ms. Torbic?
Yes.
Ms. Traverso?
Yes.
Mr. Accomando?
Yes.
Ms. Zattarelli?
Yes. Education and curriculum, Mr. Laurentino?
At the recommendation of Superintendent, I make a motion to approve the following items: E2223.50 through E223.58.
Any comments? Comments or questions? Roll call?
Ms. Borelli?
Yes.
Ms. Iannello?
Yes.
Mr. Laurentino?
Yes.
Ms. Mahoney?
Yes.
Mr. Shearer?
Yes.
Ms. Torbic?
Yes.
Ms. Traverso?
Yes.
Mr. Accomando?
Yes.
Ms. Zattarelli?
Yes. Budget and Finance, Mr. Shear?
At the recommendation of the superintendent, I make a motion to approve the following items: BF 222389 all the way through BF 2223-115.
Second.
Second.
Any comments, questions? Roll call?
Ms. Borelli?
Yes.
Ms. Iannello?
Yes to all, but in
BF 2223.89. I'm going to abstain from check numbers 2143 and 2474.
Mr. Laurentino?
I'm going to vote yes to all, but I'm going to abstain in BF 2223.89, checks number 2186 and 2515.
Ms. Mahoney?
Yes.
Mr. Shear?
Yes.
Ms. Torbic?
Yes.
Ms. Traverso?
Yes.
Mr. Accomando?
Yes.
Ms. Zattarelli?
Yes. Facilities and Operations, Mr. Accomando.
Sure. At the recommendation of the superintendent, I make a motion to approve the following items. F2223.14 to F2223.116.
Second. Any comments, questions? Roll call?
Ms. Borelli?
Yes.
Ms. Ianello?
Yes.
Mr. Laurentino?
Yes.
Ms. Mahoney?
Yes.
Mr. Shear?
Yes.
Ms. Torbic?
Yes.
Ms. Traverso?
Yes.
Mr. Accomando?
Yes.
Ms. Zattarelli?
Yes. Mrs. Ianello, Policy.
At the recommendation of the superintendent, I make a motion to approve the following items. P 0144 through R 9140.
Second. Any comments?
I want to comment on two of them. One of them is the live animals in school revision, and that came about, Mrs. Wonder came to the committee and she presented because one of her teachers has a therapy dog, and so we're revising that policy to permit a therapy dog. So I know Smith School plans on piloting this in the fall, or they plan on having a therapy dog present, and we're going to work over the summer on a plan for that. So we were excited to be able to implement that in our schools. And the other one I want to comment on is the dress and grooming. And we had several parents come up and comment in our last meeting, so I just wanted to share a statement. I wanted everyone to know that this was not just it wasn't a quick decision by the board by any means. So I wanted to just take a moment to let the parents know that we've heard you, the board has heard you, and thank you for approaching us. You know, it's careful consideration was taken, multiple conversations, and we decided to keep these on the May agenda with the goal of transitioning from what we have been calling a uniform to a dress code policy beginning this September 2023 for the start of the school year. And I know we call it a uniform, but we've definitely moved away from, the strict khakis and the blue polos over the years. But I just want to take a moment and just share that we did review the research, and in that research there's supports for both the uniform and a dress code. And I'm just going to share some of the arguments. The first one is safety, that having a uniform in a school building helps to immediately identify an intruder. And this is really true. If we had a very strict uniform policy, then yes, we'd be able to quickly identify an intruder in the building. As far as a child goes, not so much for the adults because we don't have a uniform for adults. I also wanted to share, the next point is that some believe that uniforms decrease violence and loyalty to gangs, but anyone in a gang is going to find other ways to show their loyalty. Do uniforms really help level the playing field in regards to economic disparity? Well, even with the uniform, there's different brands that may be worn, different levels of wear, and students may choose different footwear or other items, coats, to show off their financial situation. We live in a world where our children, mostly, generally speaking, enjoy wearing sweats and leggings and hoodies. And a uniform has the potential to make some children extremely body conscious, whether they feel they're too skinny or too heavy. A uniform does not permit a child to dress in clothes that they're comfortable in and come to school ready to learn. With the uniform, there's also less visible diversity. We teach our students to be proud of their heritage. Diversity should be visible, should be celebrated and discussed. That's how we get to inclusivity and acceptance, which is our goal. We always say to students that there's a reason why we are all different. We speak about the importance of teamwork and utilizing our individual strengths. How many times have we told our children how boring the world would be if we were all the same? And yet, a uniform promotes conformity. It also may be difficult for some families to find uniform clothing that fits their children, or it puts pressure on families to make sure their uniform is washed and ready. There's also an economical piece. Yes, if you have a standard child, it may be easy for you to find economical uniform wear for your child. However, this isn't the case for every child, and parents may feel they need to purchase both the uniform attire along with a whole entire casual wardrobe. Then there's the idea that people say uniform prevents bullying, but I'm going to say that's false because bullying is universal. So bullying is going to happen whether you have a uniform or you don't have a uniform, which is why we have a very strong HIB policy in place. And then we have the enforcing piece, and many parents have reached out about this, especially at the middle school, high school, regarding the enforcing of the school uniform. So as you may know, as you may be aware, teachers will report a student who's not in uniform. And what this means is that child then is sent out of class because they have the wrong colored shirt on, or that's one example. I'm not saying that a dress code is easy to enforce either, but we can work with our families to educate our students on appropriate attire for learning. At the end of the day, we care about our students being present and available to learn. So yes, there's multiple sides, and we want everyone to know that we do respect, the board respects each individual family's beliefs. This board, is representative of the entire community, and after listening to all the feedback received over the course of the last 2 years, it's been decided to keep these on the agenda. So I wanted to make sure I share that. And then the other piece, if I can find it, that with all that being said, I want everyone to realize that the board trustees, each trustee sitting at this table brings a different perspective to all the items that we discuss. And though you may not hear all the discussion that takes place, because a lot of it's during our committee meetings, a lot of it is during closed sessions, it doesn't mean that the communication is not there. So what we really strive for is constant communication between me and the board. And that way, we're able to answer any questions they have, and they're here for you. So the residents voted these board trustees into the seats that they're at, and they do each bring a different perspective. And in our closed sessions and in our committee meetings, they debate, respectfully so. And it's really good conversations that we have. So I don't want any community member to think that we're sitting here and there's no discussion and everyone's just approving everything, because that is far from the case. I want everyone to realize that there's a lot of work for the volunteers that are sitting at this table, and I feel very lucky to be in the spot I am right now because I see other districts and their board meetings and how contentious they may be. And so I just want to thank the board trustees that we have, and that's it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We want to thank you as well. Okay, any other comments? Questions?
Comment.
Roll call. Okay.
Through the chair, comment. I'm still on the fence with this one because what they're wearing now isn't really considered a uniform, but at least it's restricted to something, okay? Whereas when you open it up and you say you're gonna follow these guidelines, it's very hard to do when you see what they're selling out there in the stores. And you're gonna be, looking at the dress code no matter what. There's always gonna be violations just for what they sell. I'm not saying that the uniform with the shirt and the collar and the pants are the better, option, but at least here, you have leggings, like you have things that you can wear that are somewhat, acceptable, and it doesn't cross the line. So it's just tough right now for me, and I'm gonna probably say no on the first reading. Maybe I'll change my mind on the rest. But at this point, I'm still in the, I'm still.
I can understand that. It is, you're right, especially in the stores today, it's very difficult to find what, some may say is appropriate clothing. But like I said in my statement, there's pros and cons, and it's just a matter of weighing them. And I think anything is, it's not easy to enforce either way.
No, it's not. Like leggings, okay, we know what leggings look like. We know how they fit on people and how they look. Okay, so that's one of the acceptable things. That's okay. But when you get down to the shirts and the shorts, it comes a whole different world. So that's just my point on it. But everybody has their own perspective. I just wanted to say that, just so you know. When I do vote no, you'll understand more that I'm still thinking about it. And my daughter would probably not be happy with me right now. I have to tell you. I hope she doesn't see this.
I'm sending it to her. No, thank you. Anyone else? Roll call.
Ms. Borelli?
Yes to all, but no to POL 222 3.8, P5511, P5511. P or B? I can't, I'm sorry, my eyes are closed. P and R. Yes, I should know
P and
that.
R.
I didn't know which is which.
Okay. Ms. Ainello?
Yes.
Mr. Lorentino.
Like Regina, I'm going to vote yes to all, and with the utmost respect to the superintendent, I just unfortunately disagree, so I'm going to vote no on P5511 and R5511.
Ms. Mahoney.
Yes.
Mr. Shearer.
Yes.
Ms. Torbeck.
Yes.
Ms. Traverso.
Yes.
Mr. Accomando.
Yes.
Ms. Zattarelli.
Yes.
So all policies pass, first reading.
Negotiations, nothing we can speak of right now. We are currently negotiating with the aides, our teachers' aides, and the administrators. Personnel, Mrs. Torbeck.
At the recommendation of the superintendent. Are we okay?
I just want to share that on the agenda, there's a misspelling, supervisor of early childhood and special services, not supervisor or, so I changed it on the agenda online.
She doesn't get to choose which one she
It's not or.
Where is?
Or. Oh, okay.
Comes with a pay raise, right?
Now you can do the motion.
Okay,
We're good?
now we can do a motion.
Okay. At the recommendation of the superintendent, I make a motion to approve the following: P2223.75 to P2223.83.
Second.
Any comments or discussions?
Yes, if I may. I want to thank Mrs. Cohen for the 4 years, for the years that she's dedicated to us in Saddlebrook. She's a very genuine professional. She's accomplished, a lot of initiatives in our district. She's been, represented there. She's showed up. She started an MD classroom at Franklin School, and I know she gave it her full support. She was our district school safety specialist, and I know she's such a genuine professional, and we wish her the very best in her future endeavors. And then I also want to comment on our new supervisor of early childhood and special services, if it gets passed. And I want to thank Ms. Annenberg for going through the interview process with us and accepting the offer to join our team. Sorry. I got ahead of myself.
No problem. Any other comments? Questions? Roll call.
Ms. Borelli.
Yes.
Ms. Ainello.
Yes to all, but in P2223.83, I'm going to abstain from item number 11.
Mr. Lorentino.
Yes.
Ms. Mahoney.
Yes.
Mr. Shearer.
Yes.
Ms. Torbeck.
Yes.
Ms. Traverso.
Yes.
Mr. Accomando.
Yes.
Ms. Zattarelli.
Yes.
Congratulations.
Okay. Now I can congratulate you. Sorry.
All right, committee reports.
I have,
Budget, finance, okay, there's none. Facilities, operations, Mike?
no, not that, I got something.
Okay, we're getting there.
Sorry.
Nothing on the policy?
Even though we kind of went over it. We did meet on May 3rd. The board members in attendance were Ms. Traverso, myself, Ms. Torbeck, Zalaretti, Ms. Violetti, and Mr. Karati. And Ms. Wonder discussed the therapy dog and doing that as a pilot program over at Smith School. We then discussed all of the policy items that were on the agenda this evening. And most of them were either revisions that were recommended, there were some that were abolished. And for the future, we are going to be going over the bylaws. We're going to set a schedule and just review them to make sure that they are current. And that was it.
Thank you. Liaison reports. I'd like to, May 31st, there is a school board's meeting dinner at the Clinton Inn. If any, it's two,
Same night as the VIP dance at Smith School.
okay. Well, I'm just saying, if anyone wants to go, either email me or Ray so he can register us. That's it. 7:30. No, 6:30, I'm sorry. It's 6:30. 6 to 8:30. 6, it's 6 to 8:30.
Oh, my
I just
goodness.
checked. It's not going to change again, I promise. Okay. PTO, PTA?
I have, because my eyes are getting blurry.
Go,
I have
Mike.
one from Smith.
I know you get Nancy.
No, it's okay. Thank you to Ms. Reyes and Ms. Carberry for the update. The PTO is in the middle of Teacher Appreciation Week with a Jersey Shore theme. They have provided food and treats and hopefully brought some sunshine to Smith School. We will wrap up the week with a special gift for the teachers and staff. We also have had a Mario's Pizza Night and a Mother's Day plant sale. Our VIP dance is coming up at the Fiesta on the last day of the month of May. Smith students can bring their very important people for an evening of food and dancing. Our spring book fair is next week, including a family pajama preview night next Tuesday from 6 to 7:30. We will have activities and story time led by the Smith Student Council. We're inviting incoming kindergarten students as well. Our art show is on June 1st. The PTO is also busy gearing up for our field day and our annual coin battle, as well as duct tape the teacher. It should be fun, the fun last few weeks of the school year. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Go ahead.
This is for the middle school, high school PTO. Want to thank them for all they've done for the teachers this week. So on Monday, they had a breakfast for the teacher. On Tuesday, it was a grab a snack and go. On Wednesday, it was a salad bar. Tomorrow was supposed to be a candy bar. And on Friday, a sausage and peppers with pasta luncheon. They also have 3 recipients for the scholarship that they will announce at the banquet dinner, which is on June 5th. Right? And the outgoing board right now is Beth, Tara, Jen, Joni, and Sarah. Thank you. Well, Sarah's actually coming back in. But thank you very much for everything you have done. It was a pleasure working with all of you, so I just want to thank you for everything. And the new board that I'm looking forward to working with is going to be Emily, please forgive me with names. I got that one. Emily Sicamatellis for president, Violetta Popolowski for VP, Sarah Milnicki for the correspondence secretary, Lisa Jacobson for treasurer, and Jessica Crin for recording secretary. So thank you, congratulations, and thank you for everything that you'll be doing for us. We look forward to working with you. And that's it. Oh, actually, I'm sorry. The next meeting is June 12th.
I have one from Franklin. The Trick or Treat was held on 5/4. It was a big success. They'd like to thank everyone who attended and volunteered and donated. Thank you to the 501 First for sending Darth Vader and Stormtrooper. The Better Than Broadway performance is rescheduled for June 2nd. Field Day will be June 9th. Once again, they're going to be providing treat shirts and some type of blow-up for the day. For teacher appreciation, they provided snacks each day. Today was a Panera lunch. The book fair is May 31st and June 1st. And that's it for the May report. Okay. Well,
Long School PTA had their meeting last night. They had a recent past event of the family movie night at, I believe it was the Hawthorne Movie Theater. It was a great success, and they are thanking all families who attended. They are currently in the middle of Teacher Appreciation Week, and I believe so far it has been pizza, hot dogs, and popcorns to date. Bronx School has always been very creative with what they do for teachers, and I have to say, being a past member from there, what they do now is amazing. It's a great thing that she does for them. There was a Parents' Night movie night that is now being canceled. Field Day is being held Thursday, June 8th. They are looking forward to adding the inflatables again this year, rented by the PTO. PTO will be providing T-shirts, lunch, and ice cream truck. Book fair will be held on Tuesday, June 13th, and Wednesday, June 14th. Yearbooks have been ordered. Thank you to all who have submitted pictures. End-of-year class parties will be held on June 21st with pizza and ice cream provided by the PTO, and additional goodies will be provided by class parents. Their next meeting is June 13th.
Thank you. Anyone else have any? Correspondence? None. Old business? New business?
Although the
Through the chair?
Through the chair, although the superintendent alluded to it before, the Wrestling Hall of Fame dinner is coming up this Friday. She did mention Mr. Rogers, who most of us know as our phys ed teacher over at Franklin School, but Wayne was also a phenomenal wrestler and is actually the all-time winningest coach in Saddlebrook High School wrestling history. So major shout out to Wayne. Also getting in is Jim Dempsey, whose son works here in our district. He was a rec coach, influenced me heavily through my recreation program, so congrats to him. And Steve Gubernaric, graduate in 1964, which is even before my time, hard to believe. I'd also like to segue into giving a congratulations to all the teachers of the year. You know, the biggest asset to any organization is your people. And one of the great things we have here in Saddlebrook is the teachers that we have. And I was reading Mr. Iannacone's on the screen, and you realize being a teacher is not a job. It's a lifestyle. It's a 24/7 job, weekends, even when you're not working, you're thinking about it. So I know up here we have the utmost respect for teachers, and then a special shout out to my wife, Sue Laurentino, who got the award at Smith School. Yes, Miss, the principal is correct when she said Sue does stay up at night, and I know that because I hear the TV click on. But again, congratulations to the Teachers of the Year that were recognized this year, but to every teacher in our district. You all do a great job.
Thank you. Anyone else? I just want to piggyback off of Ms. Laurentino and congratulate all the wonderful teachers out there that won tonight and all the wonderful teachers. Any other new business? Motion to open the meeting for public comments? Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Anyone wishing to speak? Okay, I have to read a whole paragraph. Residents are requested to state their names, addresses, and subject matter. In the event it appears the public comment portion of the meeting may exceed 45 minutes, the presiding officer may limit each statement made by a participant to 5 minutes duration. Issues raised by members of the public may or may not be responded to by the board. All comments will be considered and a response will be forthcoming if and when appropriate. The board asks that members of the public be courteous and mindful of the rights of other individuals when speaking. Specifically, comments regarding students and employees of the board are discouraged and will not be responded to by the board. Students and employees have specific legal rights afforded by the laws of New Jersey. The board bears no responsibility, nor will it be liable for any comments made by members of the public. Members of the public should consider their comments in light of the legal rights of those affected and identified in their comments and be aware that they are legally responsible and liable for their comments. State your name and address.
Okay, Amy B., 37 Waldwick Ave, but during the day, Franklin School, which is 95 Caldwell Ave. This is my 25th year with the Saddlebrook School District. Lori Cohen has been the principal of Franklin School for the past 4 of them. During that time, I have come to admire her as a leader, teacher, and honestly an amazing person. Since day one, Mrs. Cohen has been involved with the administration, teachers, parents, and students. She was always thinking of new ideas to bring to Franklin School. Mrs. Cohen would call me and ask, "Can you come to my office?"
I would go in, sit down, and she would look at me with a big smile and say, I have an idea. I wanted Mrs. Cohen at my meetings, whether it was INRS, 504, data team, school safety, it didn't matter. I knew she was going to be an active participant by listening, reflecting, asking questions, making suggestions, and offering interventions and strategies. Then she would help to figure out how to best implement those strategies. Mrs. Cohen communicated effectively and empathetically with parents, even when it was a difficult conversation or contentious. She listened and talked things through. Talking things through was a daily occurrence between the two of us. This is what I'm going to miss the most. I trusted her guidance and support. She has this ability to look at things from different perspectives and offer insight that I wasn't able to see at the time. She would explore different opinions, reflect on what I was saying, and provide different solutions. Mrs. Cohen set high expectations for her students. She had a nurturing but firm way of working with them. She listened, truly listened to what they had to say. She knew them because she engaged with them daily and made it a point to establish connections and relationships. The outside world doesn't get to see, to really see what education is like on a day-to-day basis. Just like no one can truly appreciate what it is like to be a principal. I'm fortunate I've had the opportunity to have Mrs. Cohen as my principal. I see firsthand what she does, and I can say that I continue to be impressed. Just Monday, I was in her office with another teacher, talking about the strides the student has made. I kept going on about the student, and then Mrs. Cohen said to the other teacher, part of the reason he has made these strides is because of you and your efforts. She recognized all of the good happening in her school, Franklin School. I'm a better school counselor because of Lori, and truly wish I could continue to grow with her. She was an invaluable asset to not only Franklin School, but to the Saddlebrook School District. Her resignation is a loss, and I will genuinely miss her support, guidance, and care. Standing up here, I can only speak for myself. However, I'm very in tune with the school climate, and since Monday, I could feel the heavy hearts at Franklin School. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, Marissa Dunn, 36 Yuma Lane, Ringwood. Also Franklin School, 18 years there. So, I'm Mrs. Violetti, Board of Education Trustees in our Saddlebrook community. I was so disappointed and upset to learn that we are losing such a wonderful principal. Mrs. Lori Cohen, she really was amazing to us. She began her administration career right here at Franklin and got thrown into a pandemic. She came out on top by providing her Franklin family of students, staff members with support and guidance as we navigated through such a difficult time. Personally, Mrs. Cohen was always a cheerleader for me as I continued to research, to learn more about the literacy world. Sorry, I got all like choked up. I know that I always had the support to talk through ideas, to get positive, helpful feedback when creating programs for all our students to thrive with their reading and in all other respects as well as the support when advocating for literacy needs for our students. Franklin School and I will truly miss her smile in the hallways, every morning greeting everybody, and just dropping in. Second period, I knew Mrs. Cohen was coming around, giving smiles, complimenting the students, looking at their hard work, and they brightened up when she came into the room also. Her passion to help each student be successful and see the best in themselves. So I'm very saddened for our loss in our school community, and we wish her all the best of luck in every future endeavor that she has. I know in my heart that she will continue to make such a positive impact on those around her. I'm really just very saddened by this. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Okay, Tara Apgar, 287 East Lanza Court. So I just wanted to come up here and thank the board. So this is my last year in the school district. I know we haven't always agreed. recently. This year we haven't agreed. And it's teacher appreciation, and they get everything. And I just wanted you guys to know that you're appreciated, and thank you for your volunteering, and thank you for everything that you do for the district, and the students of the district. So I have a little gift that me and my family made for you guys. We just wanted you to know that you were appreciated. You wish, Mike.
That's after the meeting.
Late night.
This was my role.
Love you, Tara.
Very thoughtful, Tara.
I did blue and gold. Wait, I screwed up somewhere.
Why?
No, I screwed up.
It was the color that was a screw up. Thank you, Tara. Anyone else wishing to speak? Seeing none. Motion to close? Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, our meeting is now closed. Our next meeting is June 12th, our work session, and June 14th. Good night, everyone. Congratulations again to all the teachers.